guys, I am the CHALL, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel, and welcome to the DRFC Daily Reports. Now, you guys are getting a bit of a treat here because, of course, coming up this afternoon, we've got our match review from the Charlton game that's going to be kicking off in a few hours. But I thought, you know what, there's a couple of news stories that came out over the last day or two, and I thought, let's just do a daily report just to get your DRFC appetite going just before the match. So we've got two stories. We've got one about a very eyebrow-raising statement from the Barnsley boss. Of course, he's been chasing Ben Whiteman, and he made a very eyebrow-raising statement about Ben Whiteman. And also, we've got a bit of a statement from AJ Greaves, who has joined a club on a 1-month loan. Now, we said this in the preview for the Charlton game yesterday, but we want to sort of talk about more details on it, why I think it's a good move for him and stuff like that. So, before we get started, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss another DRFC video. Make sure you go stay tuned to the second channel, Coast Channel, where we get to upload some more theme park content over there. Make sure you subscribe to Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter and TikTok. My throat is getting a little bit better. I thought it would be very, very rusty this morning, but it's actually getting better than I thought it was. And for now, guys, let's get into the DRFC Daily Reports, and let's start off with a story about Ben Whiteman. So officially from the Free Press, Doncaster Rovers skipper Ben Whiteman would be a player to develop for the future if Barnsley were to sign him. However, the Barnsley boss makes an eyebrow-raising statement over the interest in the Rovers captain. The verdict of Barnsley boss Gerhard Struber, who says the Reds will continue to monitor the midfielder, says he's a player more for development. Rovers rejected close to half a dozen formal bids for Whiteman from Barnsley, none of which have come close to the value which has been set for the 24-year-old. Speaking to the media on Friday morning, Struber revealed he does not see Whiteman as potentially an immediate solution within his midfield ranks in the Championship, but rather one for the future, hinting that he does not believe he has the basics currently. Now, he said Ben Whiteman is an option and an interesting player, but we search for a player who can help us from the first second. He's a player more for development and the future. It's more important to find players who are more ready for the first game. I have always the patience to build the players up in my style, but when we must speak about the basics in football, then it's maybe not so helpful at the moment for the squad. We believe we need the players that have the right quality to handle the basics, and when they handle the basics, then we can speak about my style and the big next steps. Now, the Free Press understands Rovers believe Barnsley have been dissuaded from following up their previous interest in Whiteman following their most recent bid, and the bid submitted remains significantly lower than the amount Rovers want before they consider selling their influential captain. There's no set figure laid down within Whiteman's contract by which Rovers would be forced to sell him. Rovers, however, must inform the midfielder of any bids beyond a certain figure, but have pledged to make him aware of any interest at all. Struber's comments are hardly likely to be seen in a positive light by the 24-year-old, who himself is more than capable of making the step up to the Championship after establishing himself as one of the top players in League One in recent seasons. So that is looking then at the Barnsley manager's statement on Ben Whiteman. Now, you guys know I'm going to have to react to this at some point. The statement was absolutely, it was offensive. It was offensive to Whiteman's talents. It was an absolutely disgraceful statement by the Barnsley manager. And, I like Barnsley. Tykes TV, they do some incredible fan cams for Barnsley fans. So massive shout out to the guys at Tykes TV. You guys do an incredible job. But when you've got your manager saying that Ben Whiteman is more of development rather than first team football and doesn't understand the basics, I'm sorry. He is one of, if not arguably, the best midfielders in recent seasons in League One football. He is more than capable of making the step up to the Championship. And hell, most of us Rovers fans thought he was going to go this season. We thought he was going to get sold for a 7-figure fee. Not even 6 figures, 7 figures. We're going to the millions here. We're probably guessing the figure that they're looking for is around the £4 to £5 million mark here. But the fact they didn't even get close to that figure seems that Barnsley really aren't interested in him. So, strike one, Barnsley's bids are significantly lower than what we've, priced him at. Number two, these managers' comments. And number three, a continued version of the manager's comments. Strike 1, 2, 3. That's strike out for me. And, I think after those, the manager shouldn't have even made those comments. They should have been really positive and say Ben Whiteman is someone who can make the step up, and he's also someone for the future as well as the present. But no, he goes on this rant because he didn't get him, saying that, oh, he doesn't understand the basics of football. Why is he one of the best midfielders in League One then? He apparently doesn't understand the style of play. Well, Darren Moore plays out from the back in attacking football, whether it's counter-attacking or fluent attacking. We play attacking football as well. So why doesn't he understand that style of play? He also comes out and says Ben Whiteman, he's a player for the future and he's not, a first teamer. He's more than ready for a Championship first team, especially a club like Barnsley, who, no disrespect to the fans, Barnsley are a yo-yo Championship League One club. So why wouldn't he be a first teamer when he's already at a top League One club that's fighting for promotion year in, year out, compared to a Barnsley who's a Championship yo-yo club with League One? I don't get that. I really don't get that. Yes, you could say you've got midfielders in that position already, and Whiteman would be on the bench at Barnsley, but on the other side of it, you've got to look at it and say, well, hang on a minute, Whiteman's proved himself. We got him on Sheffield United on loan, made it permanent. He's been with us for a few seasons, and he's been arguably one of our best midfielders in recent times. You've got to put him up there with the likes of Goppinger for some of the seasons that he's had. And if Whiteman stays with us until he retires, then he'll be the next club legend. Once James Coppinger's gone at the end of this season, next club legend in line is Ben Whiteman. So it's a weird one, but I think after those comments, I think the ship has sailed with Barnsley. I don't think if Ben Whiteman was to go next summer, Barnsley is not the destination. After you could have saved yourself, you could have bidded again in the transfer window, and if you didn't get him in this transfer window, you could have bidded for him again in January with a much higher bid, and then you could have bidded for him again in the next summer. But after those comments by the manager, not only is Ben Whiteman going to prove you wrong, but also he's going to that ship sailed. Barnsley can't get him now because he will not want to join a club that's just slagged him off saying he doesn't understand the basics of football. That's good for us because we're keeping arguably our best midfielder, but for Barnsley, who really wanted him, that ship sailed. You can't get a player you've just slagged off in the media recently. You can't get him. You made half a dozen bids, and you've just slagged him off because you haven't got him. That's my thoughts on it. You slagged him off because you haven't got him, and it's just childish behaviour from the manager, in my opinion. I've got no doubts that the Barnsley manager Struber is a good manager. He's got fluent attacking football on his mind. I'm sure he can take Barnsley a long way. But when you make comments like that, it's gonna make people wonder where your stance is on things. It makes you wonder if something else happens that goes against him and he doesn't want him to. Is he going to lash out at people? Is he going to lash out in the media again at other people? Is he going to get, verbally aggressive about things that he didn't get his way? And is that going to make Barnsley fans turn on him? And is that negativity going to affect the dressing room and get Barnsley relegated again? So, you've got to think of it at that point and think, well, if he's going to go stupid things like that, is he the right man for Barnsley? And, Barnsley fans can turn around and say, yeah, he's the right guy. But I don't know. I think it was just this one time where he got, verbally aggressive about Whiteman. But Whiteman can prove him wrong now because, of course, we're playing Charlton today. That's our second league game of the match. Second match of the league. So he can prove him wrong. Absolutely can prove him wrong today. And I think those comments will be the making of Ben Whiteman because I think he's going to prove every single person that's doubted him wrong this season again. And like I said, with the Barnsley, that ship has sailed. Barnsley cannot go in for him again because you can't go for a player you've just slagged off because you haven't got him after half a dozen bids. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work like that. You've got to get, if you want to get Whiteman, if you want to make Ben Whiteman a top target in January or sometime at the end of this summer with a substantial fee, you're going to have to get his trust back on side now. I'm sure Whiteman's going to put all those comments to one side, but you've got to get his trust back on side if you want to sign him. If not, bye-bye. Titanic, sinking. So yeah, that's the story on Ben Whiteman. I just wanted to share my thoughts on that because I was mad at those comments. I was absolutely angry as anything at those comments. because I don't think Whiteman deserves that. I don't think Rovers deserve that. A lot of people have doubted Rovers, saying we're not a good club, and thinking we've got basic players. It's not true. And especially in this transfer window with the signings we've made, we've been very overlooked, and then they've looked at us and said, well, hang on a minute, they're doing pretty well for themselves now, they could be a threat. So we need to prove now on the pitch that we can be a threat, and hopefully we'll do that today against Charlton to start off. So, moving into our second and final story of today's DRFC Daily Reports, and that is talking about AJ Greaves, because he's going out on loan. So we spoke about AJ Greaves recently in the past, the fact that he can versatile himself in the right back position during pre-season, but his future is in the centre of midfield, and because we've got loads of great players in that position, Ravenhill moving up in the ranks, Whiteman and Gomez looking unstoppable as a pair, I think I kind of knew that Greaves would go out on loan at some point, and he's going out on loan. AJ Greaves will join Gainsborough Trinity in the National League North on a 1-month loan deal. Now, the midfielder spent some time in the National League North side last season and has returned on a short-term loan in order to continue his professional development and gain more experience of first-team football. The 19-year-old made his senior debut in the EFL Trophy back in October last year and impressed manager Darren Moore throughout last season to earn himself a new deal back in this summer. So that is the story on AJ Greaves. He is joining Gainsborough Trinity in the National League North on a 1-month loan deal. Now, Gainsborough Trinity fans, comment down below, what do you think about this? He's definitely impressed under Darren Moore. I think he does have a long-term future at Rovers. I think he will be a good future player. And this kind of ties into the argument that I was going on about, I think, a while back. And someone actually commented below one of the past videos and said we should learn from a Norwich City kind of youth system where we invest in youth rather than spend big on players from clubs. And with the youth stars we've got coming up, we've got Lewis Jones, we've got Danny Amos, Lyric Asani, AJ Greaves, Ravenhill, and all these youth players from the under-18s. I think there's a real potential here to keep investing in first teamers, but also invest and loan in Premier League youngsters as well as invest in the youth academy. So I think learning from the Norwich City system, or even I know this is a massive long shot, but maybe even the Ajax system. You look how, even though they're a much bigger club than Donny Rovers, you've got to look at the Ajax youth system and think how they operate their youth academy and how they invest in the youth and they bring them up and suddenly they turn into multi-million-pound players. We look at clubs like Norwich and Ajax, you sort of think, well, hang on a minute, the youth system might be an option, and I think Darren Moore's one of those managers that can provide first-team opportunities for the youth system. So we've got a manager that won't be afraid to invest in youth as well. Obviously, we've done that in the transfer market with the Premier League teenagers, Tulloch, John Jules, players like that. And, there's a real potential to invest in youth, and I think loaning them out is going to get them more first-team football, and it's going to get them more experience. And I definitely think, especially this month, we're not going to use Greaves. I definitely think we're not going to use Greaves. And I said this in the preview, when I said about Greaves going out on loan, I said that this is another sign that next week we could be signing Charlie Seaman from Bournemouth. So, he's been released by Bournemouth, but on a free transfer, but his last club was Bournemouth. Even though he spent loan spells out at Eastleigh, Maidstone United, Dundee United, and Weymouth in the past as well. So, Charlie Seaman definitely will be. He's a very exciting young right back. So, I think that with Greaves going out on loan and the fact we've only got Brad Halliday now in the right back position as an out-and-out right back, I think that by next week we will sign Charlie Seaman. I think there's just another nail in the coffin that we will make that signing next week. And seeing highlights of him, seeing gameplay of him, seeing how he performs on the pitch, I think we've got a good gem here. I think we've got a really good young gem in Charlie Seaman, in my opinion. And I think he's going to be a fantastic signing for the club. So, very excited about this. I think that Charlie Seaman will sign next week, and this is just going to confirm it even more with the fact that Greaves, who played at right back in pre-season a couple of times, as well as his usual centre midfield position, is going out on a 1-month loan to non-league Gainsborough Trinity. But Gainsborough fans, comment down below. Do you think this is a good signing? I definitely think it's a good signing for you guys. Because you're giving this young guy more first-team football over the next month. So whether he extends this loan past a month and it's up until January, we'll have to see with that. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the end of this. So Thank you very much, guys, for watching this episode of the DRFC Daily Reports. The next time you're going to see a video on this channel, it will be the official match review of Doncaster Rovers away at Charlton Athletic in front of the fans. Charlton fans, if you're protesting still today, good on you. Keep protesting against the EFL. Stay socially distant, of course, but as long as you can do it in a safe way, keep protesting against the EFL and the ESI owners and get them out of the club. Just get them out of the club as much as possible. So, big up to the Charlton fans. Can't wait to see what we're going to do today against Charlton at the Valley. But for now, guys, I'm the CHALL. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the match review later this afternoon. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.